to Let's Talk Leadership podcast. My name's Ellie Greening.
And my name's Sandra Patel Stewart.
On this podcast, we will be interviewing some of the UK's greatest tech leaders. We'll be discussing war stories, battle scars, and their learnings from their journeys.
Hopefully, you will pick up some great tips, learn from others' experiences, and have a good laugh along the way.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for tuning into the Let's Talk Leadership podcast. Super excited today because we've got the fantastic Stuart Bullock on. Hi Stuart.
Hi Ellie, how you doing?
Very good, thank you. So to the listeners who aren't aware of Stuart is the Managing Director at BJSS. If you haven't heard of BJSS, I'd be very surprised, but BJSS are one of the fastest growing tech consultancies in the UK, also doing a lot of work over in America, and you work on full software development lifecycle delivery and also service, don't you, for a number of clients internationally?
We do, yes. We've got 10 offices across the UK, 2 in America, 1 in Europe now. And as you say, it's a full service proposition right the way from digital design consulting, right the way through to outsourced project delivery, and then looking after stuff when it's live, and then all the consultancy in between. So, keeps us occupied.
Well, I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to actually meet you in person today because I've worked with BJSS now for about three and a half years. So we've helped support you on a number of your consultancies, but I've never had the opportunity to meet you in person. So thank you very much for taking the time to meet us, Stuart.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we've as a business, we've obviously worked closely with you guys for a number of years, and your name's cropped up here and there, and it's great to have this opportunity to find out more about you and your background, how you got into tech and how it all began, and it was great to have you on our panel yesterday evening as well. We had our second episode of COVID-19, what the tech is going on, and you were great. We had some really positive feedback, and it was just great because you were really open and honest and transparent with you, and I think, and that's what a lot of the listeners and viewers want is they want a kind of true account for what's going on in your business, what measures you're putting in place, how you're handling certain situations, and everyone's going through such a tough time at the moment.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It is difficult. So thank you for that, and share the feedback with you soon as well because it was really positive.
Yeah, once again, thanks for inviting me. It was fun to take part.
Yeah, and if anyone wants the link to that following the podcast today, it's actually on our YouTube channel. We've just released the video so you can catch up on the content, which was superb. We are now in week 8, 9 of lockdown, aren't we, in the UK?
I count it as week 9, but I think I dropped in a week early.
Oh, did you?
I think we might be on week 8.
Yeah, I think me and Sandra are probably a little bit more reluctant to leave the comfort of our office, weren't we? But I think we're going into week now. It's been a funny old time, and we'll definitely cover some topics around COVID across the podcast today. But we would love to start the podcast with your journey, Stuart, and how it all started, where it all began, how you ended up getting into tech, and what you're up to in your current role at the moment at BJSS now.
Okay, that's a broad question. Right, I'll see what I can do to kind of try and sort of summarise that without being too boring.
Whistle stop tour.
Yeah, I guess fundamentally I've always done what I think's best suited to me. So I guess human nature, you do the things that you're naturally probably best at. Probably a sensible thing to do that. I went to university. I didn't know as a kid what I went to university. I did engineering because I just thought, it's a bit of everything. I had absolutely no interest really in engineering, but it just did. Did a broad range of subjects, and technology or computers seemed to be the thing that I seemed to be probably naturally best at. Maths, that type of thing. So I ended up in tech, and the rest kind of, as they say, is a bit of history. But I guess it's funny. I was thinking about the answer to this question. I gave a presentation at the Women in Leeds Digital Conference last year.
Great.
I talked a little bit about my career, and in preparation for that, I was kind of thinking about my career, and it worked out. I've only made, and I'm not going to go through all of these, but I've made 9 decisions in my entire life that have kind of significantly impacted kind of what I do. When you think about it that way, there's not many decisions you make that really kind of impact your kind of life. And I also worked out. I've been working for 30 years, and I don't feel that old. But it sounds terrible.
You come across very energetic, so...
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just
something right.
So just 9 decisions in 30 years is phenomenal. But I guess there's so many you make every day. But I won't go through all of them now anyway. But it's been a heck of a journey, and I guess one of the things for me is I've loved every minute of it. And I guess there's something about that. I guess if you make the decisions for the right reasons, it probably makes it quite an enjoyable journey. And I have no regrets kind of on that. So I probably squeezed everything out of that 30 years. I think.
Yeah. Did you start off within development then and progress?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I was a developer when I started, and then kind of started working my way through. I spent 2 years in development, and then I started out as an independent contractor myself with only 2 years experience.
What tech was that? Was it COBOL?
It was a 4GL called Uniface at the time. So
heard of that.
It was just when Unix was all new and kind of all the rest of it. Anyway, I did that for a couple of years, and then I had an opportunity to take a leadership position in the company that owned that particular product, but it was in South Africa. So I moved lock, stock, and barrel, age 25, to South Africa, which was literally the month before the Nelson Mandela elections in 1994.
Oh wow!
So I was probably one of the very few people emigrating to South Africa at that particular moment in time, because everybody thought the country was going to go down the pan. It was a very risky time. But I guess it's one of those things you do, and you kind of decision you take at the time. And I don't think I've ever looked back from that. It was quite exciting, to join a leadership position in a global company. But actually,
how long were you over in South Africa for?
I was there for 4 years.
Wow.
4 years. And I thought about sort of other career decisions I've taken since then, and I've never taken a career decision for money. It's always either been a life decision like that, it was a great opportunity, go and live in another country, actually an interesting career decision too. It's always been that really for me. So I've never moved, I can earn another 5k here by moving somewhere else. I've never done that. And I guess because of that, I probably enjoyed the jobs and kind of the journey a little bit more, I suppose.
Yeah, fantastic. And how long have you been with BJSS for now?
I joined BJSS. I came back from South Africa in '98, and then spent a couple of years down in London, and then moved back up to Yorkshire about 2000. And I joined BJSS then. I left and rejoined them again, but that's kind of another story. But so really, my relationship with BJSS started 20 years ago.
Wow! So when it all began then?
Not worse. It had been going for 7 years when I joined them, but there were 35 of us then. There's about 1,300 of us now, but it was a very small company. I moved up from London, joined this small consultancy in Leeds, and of course, because it was a consultancy, I spent the next 18 months in London.
Did you join when Nigel Wilson was there?
Yeah, Nigel joined. So I was with BJSS for a couple of years, and then because I was in London so much, I moved up to Yorkshire. There wasn't a decent work-life balance kind of for me. Yeah, so I left, but I rejoined again in late 2006. And I think Nigel Wilson had just joined just before I rejoined in 2006.
I did a bit of work with him a long time ago.
And we worked together for a few years before he moved on.
Fantastic. Well, there must have been something drawing you back. And ever since then, all that time, the company has just gone from strength to strength, right?
Yeah, it was a very easy decision. That I didn't want to leave BJSS at the time. It was purely, I'd moved up to Yorkshire with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, but and then just living away all day, every day. And at the time we were so small, all our work was in London, so there was after you can do that for a couple of years, but after a while it kind of wears. So but there wasn't an opportunity for a work-life balance kind of at BJSS. But I really love the people and the ethos. I'll come back to this again a bit later, but Glyn Robinson, who's now the chairman, and Andrew Marker and the company. I love the ethos, and I love the strength and depth the company had, and it was a very simple company, but an amazing company. So I kept in touch with them, and when there was a chance to rejoin, and they'd opened a London office, rejoined late 2006. I jumped at it. I kept in touch with the guys, and it probably was always on the card. So I wasn't apart from them for long, probably only 4 years. So I've been with them since then. So it wasn't a hard decision, just because it just resonates with my ethos, really.
Fantastic. And then the business since then has had some amazing achievements that you've been able to play a key role in, I'm sure. So yeah, that's fantastic. And your role at the moment then, so you're MD at BJSS, like you say, global reach, you've got offices all over the world now. How's your role at the moment, and what sort of things are you up to?
Yeah, good question. Okay, I guess I mentioned the ethos a little bit, and I guess I should come back to that a bit, because it makes it really simple. We only strive to achieve three things really, and that's to be a high quality provider, so high quality services, make it a great place to work for the staff that are there, and finally, very simply, just be here for the long term. So it's not a company that's being geared up to sell or anything like that. It's to be here for the long term for the staff. So everything that we do has got to be around one of those things, either doing a phenomenal job for a client or just making it a phenomenal experience for the people who work there, and just sustaining that longevity. So it makes it really simple company to work for me and as MD. Now,
that's fantastic. And the caliber of staff that you have is incredible.
Yeah, they are amazing, and it's you're right. It's probably the innate sort of the innate ability of everybody as opposed to experience that they bring. It's amazing what even young, bright, raw, talented people can bring to the business. And I think so. We don't hire based on CV. We hire based on talent and kind of culture fit, really, I think. But,
and the potential.
Yeah, so for now, as an MD, I guess the stereotypical thing everybody thinks an MD is profit and loss. It's money coming in, money going out. Hopefully the money coming in is a bit more than money coming out, and that way we can do pay rises and all the kind of rest of it, and invest and do exciting things. So obviously that's what the owners look to me for. I'm accountable for the P&L. The words they would use, they'd say it's my train set to look after for that. I have to worry about everything. I have to worry about all the people. I have to worry about growth. And times like now, I have to worry about resilience, stability, safeguarding jobs, making sure we're relevant in the market, that the services that we put out there as things that clients want to buy. And so I have to care about all the detail, every single person, every single pound we spend, every single pound we earn, and then kind of look forward and direct the strategy and make sure we're pointing in the right direction. So I'm very lucky.
Role then.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? People think that about an MD, but as I've gone through my career, I guess every job you do, we're always busy. We're all grafting. Nobody's sat around just taking it easy. It's just different, isn't it? Just the scale of work you do. And I guess I've had some experience kind of in this industry and at this company. That means I probably understand which way to point things at. And I'm very lucky, as you referred to, kind of Ellie's phenomenal talent pool of people. So actually, as long as I can point them in the right direction, I don't really have to do much else. It's if ever you're going to be MD, this is the company to be MD of, really.
With all the best minds.
Oh yeah. If I mess this up, well, buy me.
I think it'd be really interesting to, given the current climate, to understand more about how lockdown and COVID-19 has impacted you, your role, the business, and how you're managing it all.
Yeah, it's massively different, but once again, phenomenal how people have responded. I think everybody reacted really quickly, and I think as a business we were sort of a week ahead of everyone else, just because of we realised what was going on. So I mentioned going into lockdown. We went to lockdown a week early because we took some decisions 3 or 4 weeks before lockdown that was around. Look, we need to make sure that we isolate people. Simple, just common logic decisions around. Well, we need to safeguard individuals. So what do they need to do? Well, they probably need to interact with less people. So as we're a consultancy, you'd have people coming into our office or going to a client site and then another client site.
Yeah,
so we took a decision.
I remember that well, actually, because I think you guys are obviously one of our clients, and I'm sure it was like 2 or 3 weeks before lockdown. And you'd adapted already to start remote interviewing. You were interviewing, doing video interviews. You were interviewing off-site at coffee shops.
Yeah, we took the decision that everybody should, as we weren't in lockdown yet, and people were going to work, we would go to one place of work, and that would be it. So, if you came into the office, then you come into the office, and that would be it. If you went to a client site, it would be that client site you go to, and you wouldn't come back to the office. You'd have to video conference in. And I had to visit a client on a week before lockdown. There was no way the meeting was going to go ahead any other way. So I went to the client site and had the meeting. But I knew I had that meeting on the Monday that I couldn't go back to the office the rest of the week. So that's how I ended up kind of being locked down. But so we took some decisions quite early on. And then I'm very lucky. We've got a small but strong leadership team with very clear sort of understanding as to who kind of looks after what. So as soon as COVID was coming along, immediately a small COVID steering group was formed with the right people. That met every day. They started to take some actions, some decisions. That was communicated strongly to the board. We set up some regular sessions. So that group met every day. The senior leadership team met every day. The owners and the chairman and I met every day. The board met every week. So all of a sudden we were in a very different pattern, which is around, right, this is a different thing going on. did different things. And we had great plans of all the things we're going to do for the year, but we literally just put them all down and turned to face the business.
All on pause and on hold.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we started to talk to all of our clients, what was going to happen to them. And we looked really hard at the finances of the business, and we've been, I mean, the owners are very shrewd, and we don't say we have no external investment. We've never bought or sold any part of the company. We've always sort of tried to maintain a strong cash position such that should there any day happen, then you've got some reserves. So we had some reserves, obviously, to look at that. And then we just said, okay, well, what would you do now? Well, you batten down the hatches, don't you? You spend as little money as you can. You take every opportunity of all kind of financial support you can kind of get around the board to make sure that you can keep as many cash reserves. Because the biggest cost to running our business is staff salaries. And the owners and the chairman and I were really keen that we just maintained the team, so we didn't want to lose anybody. We thought, well, if we can maintain cash, just not spend stuff, just keep batten down the hatches, keep cash in the bank, and we'll ride this period out, and whatever happens. And we did all sorts of financial scenario planning, of doomsday plans, and kind of what we could do and how we could survive and how much money we could lose, and all the kind of rest you'd expect.
Sounds like you've made some great plans there, and I think a lot of the feedback that we get, obviously, our role working with people all the time and discussing the market, and a lot of the feedback that we get speaking to candidates these days is that there's a lot of companies that haven't handled it very well, and they haven't put their company at the forefront. They've put the business and the profit. And as a consultancy, it's even more challenging, isn't it, than most organisations? So, like you said, with BJSS, historically, there is a lot of travel. It's consultancy. You've got most clients want you there. If they're paying for a product, they're paying for a service, they want a person behind that service. So I guess that's brought lots of challenges with it as well.
It has, but it's funny, once again, I think just naturally the company, I guess perhaps because we're a consultancy, we do a lot of travel and then we do a lot of remote meetings. We already had the technology in place. We already had a well-hosted sort of a broad network of technology so that people could work remotely, because we need to support that anyway. So actually for us, we did a lot of business continuity planning. We hadn't tested on if we had to literally take the entire office and stick them all at home, how that would work. I mean, you'd be mad.
I don't think anyone had.
Why would that ever happen? So we hadn't tested that, but it was amazingly quick and okay, I would say painless. Our technology team would say it wasn't painless. It's really hard. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, they did a phenomenal job and got everybody working remotely phenomenally quickly. So that was kind of amazing, really. And the agile kind of delivery approach has always been co-located teams sat together, working together. And this is the antithesis of that. But oddly, what we found with agile, and we've probably had to deal with this, I guess, over the years anyway. So we've had to ramp up teams really quickly for clients that wanted to hit tight deadlines with massive projects. So we've worked with remote teams before, having, you know, a team on site in one city and 3 teams across 3 different other cities and have to work remotely. So it's a problem we've tackled before, and it's hard. It's really hard. So actually, I guess maybe that experience was useful for us. But people fell into it naturally. I think the agile thing helped. You know, having small, short sprints, setting to tasks, daily stand-ups, all that kind of stuff that comes with agile works nicely in this remote situation. If you just assume that we're all remote, okay, so we have to deal with that. But if you ignore that, that approach just seemed to work nicely. So oddly, people have transitioned to it really well. And then people start doing things, right, okay, we realize remote working's hard. So all sorts of things started to pop up without us having to do anything. So our creative designers were going, right, actually, we've thought about this working remotely. Here's a podcast on working remotely and what it's like. And here's a podcast on what it's like to communicate to people that aren't with you. So all of a sudden, all these little things start to come out of the business without anybody having to tell anybody, ask anybody to do it. So
that's great.
And I think the business, maybe there's something about experience or the type of people, I don't know, but it did slip more naturally into it than I thought. And productivity's been great too. I think, I guess that would have to stand the test of time, but we found that delivery pace on projects has been as good and sometimes even better.
Oh wow! Because the thing is as well, like the staff working from home is its own battle, but it's parents, isn't it, and the responsibilities of running a house. And well, Sandra will tell you more than anyone. She's got a 4-year-old boy, and it's a handful.
It's, I mean, obviously that, you know, that has its challenges, but I think it's great that you've. One of the things I think is, and it sounds like you've got this down to the T within BJSS, is that it's bringing the people together and creating a community. And I've heard this over the past 7 or 8 weeks from various people in our network, is that productivity has increased, teams have become much closer, working more collaboratively. You know, and there's so many people out there that are offering free advice and support, which is great, and we can only take that as positives moving forwards, which is brilliant.
I guess because it's an extreme, in some ways it makes it easier because everybody's working from home, everybody's having to be more relaxed and deal with it. I think if you're in a situation where you have a mix, and you have some people in the office, that's where I think it's more difficult doing that.
And I guess everyone's in the same boat, it just in certain different situations, different businesses, but we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, but you alluded to it, Sandra. I mean, it's not easy, this, and I think, you know, we don't have it nailed, but certainly, I guess we're probably better than most, I suppose. But there are the realities of life to deal with. You know, I'm lucky. I have a wife that doesn't work and that can look after kids. Some people are single mums or single dads. Some people are just single people in a flat. You know, and all those things bring different pressures on individuals. So you can't cookie cutter an employment contract now. You know, you can't do that. You have to deal with every case as it is. As an employer, try and be as flexible as you can. We, as I said at the start of this podcast, we took the decision that we want to represent all the jobs, and we're ignoring. And I think the word profit isn't even a conversation we're talking about. Business sustainability, you talk about resilience, talk about maintaining jobs. So actually, it's not about how successful you are financially in that. It's about longevity. It's about making sure people can work. And so allowing people to deal with those situations and be flexible with them, which, as you said, for a consultancy is hard, really hard, because our clients expect.
And I think, but I think, you know, there'll be certain businesses that come out of this stronger. And you know, particularly with a consultancy, and the same with our businesses, without the people we're nothing. And you know, so you have to absolutely do everything that you can to look out for the people and care for the people and support the people, and that is what will, you know, BJSS will come out of this so much stronger, because it sounds like you've got some great.
I think we're working twice as hard on that. I mean, we've always believed you have to work hard on that, because we've always been a people business. We have no product per se that we can shrink wrap and sell for a couple of quid. So it has always been about people. So we've always worked hard on it, but we're working twice as hard now. And I think not just me. I mean, there's everybody in the businesses, and I think it's been a great opportunity for some people to stand up and go. You know, like, ask me kind of how I got to where I got to, but other people in their career thinking, oh, you know. There's a bunch of people here, and I can look after them. Right, guys, let's all jump on a Zoom call. Let's have this thing. Let's have a beer after work today. And you find people are popping up in the business that you didn't expect, that are displaying leadership tendencies that you wouldn't expect. So people are seeing that as an opportunity and grasping it, which is phenomenal. Yeah, it's really great.
Right. If we flip it round to your clients, what measures have you put in place to support your clients and service your clients during these difficult times?
Yeah, lots of them. Well, we reorganised our management team kind of a bit around that. So I have a member of the leadership team, which I call Head of Client Services. So we have the most senior delivery managers in our business grouped together, and they are accountable for all the services we deliver to our clients. But that's not just a contractual thing. That's a relationship with the client, what they expect from us, what value they're going to derive from the work we do for them, what the commercial relationship is between the two organisations, what our commitments are, what they expect from us, what they don't expect from us, how we're performing, all that. So we have a small group of people who look to do that. And we have, as you'd expect, a lot of engagements going on at any one time. We have a small group of people to do that. So what we did is we pointed those people at the clients, plus every other delivery manager we've got in the business too, and said, right, to speak to your clients, make sure that you understand where we are, where they are. Talk to them, find out what they need and what they expect from us. Some of them are in different situations. They're in the travel industry, of course. They're having to batten down the hatches, and they've got an existential threat to their business. Some of them, as a health service, are working twice as hard because they're trying to support the rest of the business as well. So what can we do to support them and help them out right now? So fundamentally, if you talk to your clients and listen to them, you know, they'll tell you what they want from you or don't want from you. And in some cases, they don't know what to ask for, whatever. And so as long as we're offering, saying, look, we're here, there'll be scope to help out, things we can do now. We realise that you're under commercial pressure. What can we do to help you? So I think listen to your clients, and everyone's different. They're all different, but they're all luckily they're all in the same boat as us. So they're all been relaxed about how we can work together with their staff and our staff. So I think they appreciate that too. And when it comes out of this, you know, they're going to want to do business with people that support them. So
yeah,
it's not a stupid thing to do either, but it's a simple thing. So we speak to them, and that's part of our daily conversation. Is right, what's going on.
Yeah.
Any conversations, and so we're just talking a lot all the time about it, and it obviously spiked. There was a lot of conversation over the first 4 to 6 weeks, and it's got a bit quieter now, obviously. But
That's similar. I mean, similar situation to us in that, probably within the first week or two, 85% of our business, our clients, paused recruitment. Everything just went on hold.
Yeah.
And the conversations we've been having is, what can we do to help you right now? What support do you need? What are your problems? What are your pain areas? And how can we help you through these difficult times? We're trying to do as much as we possibly can for candidates that are struggling to find work, and it's just
helping each other, isn't it? When and where you can. As a business, obviously, we're very fortunate. There's a lot of recruitment companies out there that haven't got anything, and we've still got a couple of clients that have managed to keep things moving, which is brilliant, and that's going to help see us through. The clients who have had to put everything on hold, which is understandable because of the market, we've just, like Sandra said, we've had to be creative, and we've had to think of different ideas and service offering and training support that we can do. But you've just got to be innovative, and like, you realize your role completely changes, and people, I think what you mentioned earlier about people bringing different skills and learning new things about each other, and it's really fascinating. It's great to have so many positives come out of it. And I think you've covered, I guess, some of your stellar leadership skills already, but I think it'll be interesting to find out what you think makes you a successful leader.
Okay. I have no idea, to be honest. I'm probably not the right person to ask, but I can tell you what I think. I remember once we did...
or things you've learned, I guess. That's a good thing.
There's a bunch of things I can come to. I think it was a while ago, I remember somebody came to the organisation and was asking us as a leadership team, sort of like what we thought were the qualities of each other, type of thing. And Glyn, who's our chairman, used the word empathy for me. He said I think that he thought that was the word that described me best, which is probably right, I guess. I probably try to put myself in other people's shoes when I'm making decisions and thinking about it. So I like to think empathy is a big thing for me. There's probably 3 things. I think empathy is one of them.
Very
Second thing is
to have, I'd say.
I think respectful is the other one. I think treating everybody. There's too many senior leaders, and it sometimes it's come down to company culture. There's senior leaders that feel that they have to be strong, aggressive, kind of dictator type leaderships, and I think there's no place for that. And I think they treat people at different levels in the organisation differently, and it just doesn't sit nicely with me. So I think treat everyone with the same level of respect, honesty, kindness, and candour, I think is kind of an important thing for me. And then finally, I guess, just really try to understand what our clients want us to achieve for them, and what they want to achieve as a result of the work we do. So I guess those are the 3 things, I guess. Really understanding your people, being empathetic and kind to them, understanding your clients, and making sure what we deliver is of exceptional value. And I think those are the simple things, I guess, that I probably hold true, I think, to everything that I do.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it's definitely
characteristics, if you like.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think motivating teams, obviously productivity, like you say, it's equal, if not stronger than before for BJSS, but motivating teams can be tough at any time, but I think particularly more now than ever. How do you, as a leader, motivate teams and bring people together to get the most out of staff?
And as you say, right now, it's probably a tougher time than ever. But I guess go back to some of the things we've already said a bit. Yeah, it's funny. I've probably not had to work too hard at it, really. I guess because of the way we've set our business up. It's not a big hierarchy type business. I have a small leadership team, but we spread across, as we mentioned before, 10 cities in the UK, a couple in the US, 1 in Europe. So actually, we're a lot of very small businesses, but with a common ethos and structure around it. So actually, I don't need to think about 1,300 people. So I need to think about a small team, and each of those people will think about the small team as well. So it's kind of broken up into small.
How many direct reports do you have then, Stuart?
Well, I'm accountable for all of them, obviously, but as a leadership team, there's only 9 of us.
That's a nice number, isn't it?
So, it's a big enough team, and I don't. it's not like I kind of line manage them per se. We work together collaboratively as a group. We have separate roles and responsibilities, but obviously we have one-on-one conversations, but we work as a group and run it all. We have a broader group that I call we have a status group that runs the business, which is much bigger than that. It's twice that size. With people with different areas of responsibilities that allows them to engage with that team. So it feels a lot more collaborative. So actually, for me, it's just making sure that team, and they did it naturally, really, as I said at the start. They fell into, right, it's sort of a crisis mode now. This is how we're going to operate, kind of fall into that. And you get small groups that get together. So you get a COVID steering committee, you've got a leadership team, you've got the board of directors, and you'll have people within a leadership group within a particular office, say within Leeds, it has its own leadership group. And so there'll be somebody there worrying about people. So they all naturally sort of get together. So actually my job is probably just a bit facilitating that and making sure that team have a clear direction from the owners of the company where we want to go and what I see as the core vision. As long as I can clearly communicate what that is, they go, right, get that, brilliant, right, I'm off. So the motivational thing
has been... You've got a good team of leaders below you anyway. So
and then within the teams from the bottom up too, as I said, so, there's over 400 people work for us in Leeds, but so clearly the leadership team in Leeds don't manage all of those. They have squad leads and lots of different projects, and each of those will have a leader. So, and just naturally people getting together either in groups of, say, it might be a people group, or it might be a group of business analysts, or it might be a group of people that are interested in running or whatever. But pockets all sort of get together and forms a sort of mini support network. So oddly, I think right now, I would say that the team is probably more motivated than ever, just because it's sort of pulled together in adversity. So actually, as long as I can put an ethos through that the owners support, about sustainability, resilience, jobs, safeguarding, because that's what we're all worried about. Coming out of this kind of job, whatever. Then and everything
looking
else
after one another.
And we're working really hard on the comms front. So we would do that quite a lot with town halls and presentations. We travel all around the country doing all that, but we're doing a lot remotely now. So every week there's at least one, if not two, sort of video broadcasts from, say, me and the chairman, or maybe the sales director, or maybe guys accountable for delivery, or the head of client services, or whatever.
Oh, great.
So there's a video call going out, just talking about a topic. Right, this is where we are. We know you're worried about these things, so this is our stance. Bang, 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 bang. Go through all of that. But within that,
so everyone is well informed.
Everybody knows.
That's brilliant.
So if there's a government announcement,
putting it on an email as well, isn't it?
Yes, you need a combination. So on Sunday there was the old announcement that Boris was going to said. So we made sure there was an email went out that night to everyone saying, "Don't come into work. The offices aren't open. Fine. We'll keep you updated next week." And then another follow up with another email on Tuesday saying, "Right, we've assessed it on Monday. This is where we are." And then Glyn and I did a video call today. So. And I've got another one at 4:00. So we do that. So every week there's always some email comms going out, but always some video comms with some face-to-face conversation. We have a people group where everybody can put questions into, and there's lots of Slack channel conversation. So I think we're working twice as hard on the comms, and I think we probably learned a bit about things that will work a bit better that we'll take forward. I think, especially the video stuff.
So Stuart, you've got a very big role. Sounds very challenging, particularly given the current times. I think everyone would probably be quite interested to hear more about how you keep yourself sane and healthy. Like, how do you manage the stress of it all?
Probably no different from anyone else, I guess. But yes, I guess we all work hard. But I guess with experience, I've developed coping mechanisms, and I've learned about myself physically and mentally, what I'm good at and what I'm not very good at. I tend to get. I'm very focused on. I will set goals for the business, not for myself, goals for the business, and things like that. And we make commitments to clients, and I worry about every one of those. And that's what will keep me up at night. But I can get embroiled in something, and because there's so much going on, if I don't keep focus, I can maybe take on too many things. So I have a bit of a coping mechanism. So every week I'll sort of checkpoint myself, and I'll go, right, what are you doing? What are you working on? What are your top priorities? And almost rebuild a to-do list kind of every week. So I have coping mechanisms like that for myself, because you need to take a deep breath. And I've learned through experience of sort of times in the other career when you get a bit out of control and it's stressful and it's not great and it impacts your home life. So I think I've learned that I have to use coping mechanisms, and I've worked out that, you know what, many things that we do and worry about, actually, if we did nothing about them, life will keep spinning and revolving. So actually, do you know what? Unless it's life or death, don't stress about it. So I can relax and I can switch off. So before work and after work, that for me is family time and me time. So I'll go for a run in the morning, as I said before, or spend time with the kids. But I travel a lot and I'm away quite a bit, so I can work quite hard too. But I don't have trouble sleeping. I think people say, "Oh, did you not respond to that email that came in at 10 o'clock at night?" Well, no, because I don't have my phone pinging me when emails come in. If I want to look at Outlook on my phone, I can click on it and it.
When do you last check your emails?
When I close up for work, so whatever time it is that day, if it was 6 o'clock, say, and I close my laptop, I won't check again.
Good.
That's great.
If something urgent, something's going on, somebody will call me. We have mobile phones, and if somebody wants to call me at 10 o'clock at night, I'll speak to them at 10 o'clock at night. It's not a problem, but I won't sit there looking for it. I have a wife and kids; they deserve a bit of my time too. Even if I were traveling and in London or whatever, then I'll probably I'll be going out with people at work, or going out with clients. And it maybe if I've got a bit of spare moment, I'll sit and have a quick look at
emails, I just find that it becomes a habit. Like
it's a bad habit.
I know people that get up and start work really early and work really late, and they're constantly on the phone's pinging them, and they're kind of looking at it. But I think you have to think sustainable. And for BJSS to be successful, I need to be on top form. So I need to be fit and healthy and thinking straight. And so I need to create time for that. I'm not work shy. I'll work really hard. And I'll work all as God sends if needs to be, but only if needs to be. I think you need to switch off.
I think that's brilliant. I think you're setting a really good example for the rest of the business. And
outside of work and just relax.
Yeah, I think there's something me and Sandra can learn from that. It's an era thing as well, though, isn't it? Like, we're on our phones all the time. When you sat down and you've got 10 minutes, it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
But I'll do all that. I'll sit down. I'm not. I do have an Instagram account, but I'm not very active in that. I have a Facebook account, but that's probably more because when I lived in South Africa, I've got relatives and friends over there, so I keep in touch with sort of like global friends or people in America that I know. Twitter I use a lot, so I follow a lot on Twitter. So I'm always on Twitter, kind of looking at it. Even when I'm sitting watching telly. But actually, would I be sitting there really worrying about something happening at work? Well, no. Unless there is something to worry about, then I will be worrying about it.
But I think that's great. Like you say, if it's an emergency or something urgent, they'll ring you.
You have to learn to switch off and have a balance. And I love, I'm quite fit generally. I fit work running in and around. Latterly, I've started to do a bit of running because it fits around work and family life. So you can go out in the morning and have a run to do all of that. I've always played squash all my life, and I love motorcycling. I've always had motorcycles. So.
Oh wow.
Oh.
So I have things outside of work.
So you've been out running this morning, you said 6:30.
I did, yeah.
How far did you run this morning?
It was only 5Ks this morning, but I'm doing about 30 and 35 kilometres a week at the moment.
Wow, brilliant.
More than I've done for a while, but this lockdown has been great. I'm fitter than I've ever been.
Are your kids into the motorbikes?
Not really, no. They're into squash, so which is nice. They all play squash, but at the moment we can't do that. So bless them. So that's all on ice until gyms can reopen again.
I'm sure it's probably quite nice for you. Like you say, you travel a lot for work, so to be actually you've probably never been at home this long in years, I can imagine.
It's lovely. It's really nice to spend time with the kids. It's hard to do some of the things that you do at work that would be client based or just staff based and just getting to know people and talking to people, because you have to explicitly find a reason to talk to someone. But that aside, I'm loving spending time with the family. It's great.
Yeah. And we're all in it. Like you say, we're all on it together. It's a level pegging field, isn't it? So to be like, you've really just got to make the most out of a bad situation right now.
Yeah, you do.
Definitely. So you've obviously earned your stripes in your career, and I'm sure that you've had lots of experiences that you've gained. It would be fantastic if you can kind of give us a little bit of detail or a little bit of insight in some of the war stories and battle scars that you've gained along the way.
Okay, right. So there's been a lot of them. What can I tell you? There's a few things. I remember, there's sometimes where you sit there and think, oh, remember that time when that happened, and it hits it and it worries you in your mind sometimes.
You get that anxiety back.
Yeah, I remember this one time I was still young. I was learning my career, and I was pre-sales, going out to see clients with a different consultancy. Went to see this client. And the work was perfect for us. It would fit up our stream. And I learned a thing about communication and perspective. I was sat in the reception at client talking to a couple of guys who were going to help us pull a proposal together. But my language was just inappropriate. I was just talking about, this is great for us. It's really low-hanging fruit. It's just sort of thing. But what I didn't know was the chap sitting next to me was the financial director of the company. And what he took from the words I used was, was going to try and overprice something and because it's perfect, whatever. So it was the language I used. I wasn't actually saying it like that, but just the language I used sat in that client thing, which just wasn't appropriate. And obviously we didn't get the work. So people at work were really upset when they heard what had happened. So I learned a few things about communication and what to say and what not to say in different situations. But I guess I've been around delivering complex systems quite a lot, and I've learned that just delivering big complex platforms is really hard. No matter how much you or clients think you know what's going on, you just don't. And what you think you understand going into it, it's going to be 4 times as hard as it is when you go in. And you know what? Things just go wrong. And as we talked about coping mechanisms before, I think you have to recognize that things will go wrong. And what is the relationship you need to build with the client is when things go wrong, you can sort it out and you can build a relationship.
The trust.
Very rare that a client brings out a contract with BJSS, because the relationship we start off saying, look, things are going to go wrong. This is what we think and it's what you think. But I can be fairly sure that what you think isn't right and what we think isn't right, because we're just so early in the journey. But you know what? When things do go wrong, I promise you we'll stand by our commitments. And then you have to see that through. So when something does go wrong and it's for some reason it's your fault, then you put it right, or the client fault, then have a grown-up conversation. So I think what I've learned in those things is just the strength of relationship will pull it through. And I can think of 2 massive programs, proper global programs or national systems, where they were really hard and really going off the rails. But the strength of the relationship and just the people around it, what the guys at BJSS can do is phenomenal. How they pulled it through, stuff that you just think, wow, I'm so amazed they do that. And a couple of really big times. And I think any that run at BJSS will probably know the couple of programs I'm talking about. And they were proper cataclysmic at the time in the middle of it. But just the strength of relationship, the strength of the client's trust with us, and kind of both of us to get that through. And then many, many, many small war stories. I guess what I do is I deal with people a lot. So I spend a lot of time speaking to people about problems and things. You know, we're all human beings. We all have issues. Some of them in work, some of them nothing to do with work. Just the number of those conversations I've had. But I think back to what we said about what's really important, just treating people with the respect they deserve and recognizing that we're all human beings. We have life to deal with, and sometimes we make mistakes, and that's okay. You know, and I think as an employer, we want a long-term relationship with everyone. So sometimes we have to bend over backwards and do things to help them out. And there's nothing for us to gain in that period. But in the long term, there is, because there's a relationship you're building. So I think those one-on-one conversations, I couldn't count how many of them I've had. But I think it's probably what I do, I suppose.
I think you made a really interesting point there, that delivering the complex systems, these huge systems, they're always 4 times harder than what you initially thought, and there's going to be errors and things away. Do you feel that you end up getting the 4 times the level of sense of achievement and relief, and at the end of it as well, you still gain that? Because that's so important, isn't it?
Every time I've spoken to people that have been on programs like that, when you're past it and you see the level of success because of how critical that system is, because of how many people use it, because of how many people around the world that don't realize what they're doing and how these systems work, just the level of satisfaction those people get from it, it's always far greater than the ones that were easy and run through and we delivered something in 3 months and it was easy. You almost forget the easy ones. I can think of a couple of programs that just gone so smooth at the end of it. You have the user acceptance test meeting, you'll sit together and project manager brings cakes and we sign it off and it was fine. But you sort of forget about those. Like, it's a bit boring that. But the hard ones, that really it generates, it builds bonds, it builds friendships. You see proper true behavior when people are under times of stress. Just phenomenal. I think it does.
It's really important as well, isn't it, celebrating those successes and those achievements, because in consultancy, obviously similar to us, you something great happens, it's brilliant, and it's easy to kind of forget and on to the next one, but it's just really important you take a step back and celebrate that with your people, isn't it? Celebrate your wins. It's fantastic.
So along your journey, I'm sure you've probably had people that you've kind of looked up to, and you've had, role models. Who would you say has been your greatest role model, and why?
That's a tough one. As a person, I don't read a lot of theory or anything or books, whatever. I do read some books, interesting, clearly I do, but it's not like I hold any sort of theoretical or clever people kind of on a pedestal. But there are people that have influenced my career massively. A few of them, Very few people. There was one guy when I went, I went contracting after a couple of years, worked at BP. There was a manager there, a guy called Alan Holyoke. He influenced me massively. Just his ability to take a complex problem and a debate going on and take it back to the simplest form of, well, what is it we're trying to solve, and kind of get everybody back to a level playing field to facilitate a conversation. Very supportive leader as well. I always often think of him, and then there's one or two other people. I mean, I mentioned Glenn Robinson, who's the chairman of BJSS. I think he interviewed me to join BJSS. I won't tell you some of the questions he asked me. It was a challenging interview back in 2000, and I've clearly worked with him for 20 years now. But he's very good. Just a great, I don't know, somebody sort of a charismatic leader. He can talk about a problem or any kind of problem with him, and he has the ability to take that particular problem in its own right and discuss it. So we don't like to generalize at BJSS or just make policies for the sake of it and say, well, this is a rule and you follow the rule. And that's come from Glyn now, where you assess the situation on face value. It doesn't matter what the conversation is. So you might have general guidelines and policies, but you're looking at the situation and there'll be a decision to make. And the reason why it's complicated is because it doesn't fit the rule. He has a way of sort of dealing with that and kind of saying, okay, well, what are we trying to achieve? If it's a client situation, what's the client trying to get out? If it's a people situation, well, what's the problem here? Where are we getting to? What's the essence of it? So I think he's taught me a lot, and I consider him a mentor even now. So a lot of the stuff I do, I go to him and say, I think I'm going to do this, and he'll tell me what he thinks of that. Often in
what's he up to now then? 20 years on.
Still chairman of BJSS. He was the previous MD that I took over from. So he's still a chairman. So I work for him really. So he's on the board of directors of BJSS. So steers us in the right direction and guides me. And I think that gives a couple of other people that I respect are the owners of BJSS too, because they're the ones that really instill this ethos. So I think the three of them, I look to them obviously from my guidance, and I'm very lucky to have them. So as a board of directors, I can go to them, and they're massively supportive. They'll support whatever I want to do, but equally they'll be challenging and equal rights too. So though, that group of people, Lynn, Andrew and Mark, are big mentors for me. But that would be it really. There's not been many people that I would say are role models, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly
that's some great ones there.
So I think it'd be brilliant to finish the podcast then, I guess, a bit about what you're really excited at for BJSS and your plans for this year. What's going on in the business is really kind of getting you going. Obviously, we've had to put things a little bit on pause at the moment. It's not too long, but...
Yeah, it's a fair question, because actually the last 4 or 5 years have been phenomenal years of growth. I mean, the demand's been phenomenal. Everybody's wanting technology. We've obviously been doing something right because the company's been growing phenomenal.
Definitely. Hard to say what's next when you've been doing so well and you've been so busy all the time.
And oddly, our financial year finished just end of last month. And we've had a great last year. It's been another year of growth, which has been great. But obviously going into this year, the economy's in a different state. And I think it's once again, it's been nice working with BJSS, because I think we're able to look at the situation and just behave, and deal with what faces us. So I think, will we be looking to grow the business financially this year? No, we won't. I mean, that'd be a ridiculous thing to say. But what we'll be looking to do is really work really well with the clients that we've got, support them really well. But actually, I think it's a phenomenal time and a phenomenal opportunity for us to revisit what we do, the services and things that we sell into the market, and make sure they're relevant to the economy as it is now and will be in the next 3 to 6 months. I think it'll be a phenomenal opportunity for people to take advantage of digital technology to kind of help their business. Look at all the retailers that have gone online, and now, where they weren't making much money online, now all their money's going from online because they've got to have no other revenue. So they've been forced to do different things. So I think it's a phenomenal opportunity, I think, now for companies like ours to kind of look at the services that we provide, the stuff that'll still be going on the way we're going on. But actually there's a phenomenal, either a new set or probably our clients recognizing how important the digital technology can be for them. So I think it's a great opportunity for us. So we're working really hard on that at the moment behind the scenes, on sort of what the services that our clients will want. Let's get them out in the market. But also, I think, well, we talked about BJSS. So I think we've got a good spread around the UK, a little bit in the USA. So that's our second biggest thing. And then we just started to dip our toes into Europe. So I think for us, there's an international story for us now. So I'm really looking forward to helping BJSS grow internationally and seed offices in countries that we don't have a footprint in yet. It'd be greater to have a bigger footprint in Europe. There was obviously that Brexit thing going on that we've all forgotten about. so it'd be great to have a stronger footprint in Europe, but also maybe in Australia, Far East, something like that. So actually, the exciting thing for me is we're sort of gearing up internally as to as to how we organise ourselves so that we can take advantage of that as the international economy starts to unlock. So for me, I think this year, if this financial year goes and we get to end of April next year, and we've got a couple more fledgling offices in a couple more countries, and we're still all busy doing some stuff, and we've delivered some more services to some new clients, I'll be over the moon. So I think as a goal, a couple of small seed offices in a couple of other countries, but
it's really
we'll
exciting.
see where we're going. I'm still very ambitious. I'm still very positive. I think the economy will bounce back. I think technology is a phenomenal place to be right now. So
when do you think it will bounce back? I'd just be interested to know what your opinion is on.
Yeah, so good question. It's a bit of a crystal ball question, this, but I think by the end I think the government are motivated to get the economy back on track. They can't afford to keep bankrolling us all on furlough. They can't afford the economy. They need to get it back. So they need to work really hard. And I think the NHS have been doing a phenomenal job to kind of keep on top of the situation and help us all out. So they're going to be working so hard to unlock the economy. And I know it'll be a phased thing and it'll be over the next few months, but I think gradually they'll start to unlock some areas of the economy. And then people can get back to doing what they did before, and businesses can have some confidence to invest in themselves and invest in digital type technology. So I think over the next few months, you'll see it gradually unlock. Where are we now? Mid-May, aren't we? May, June, July, sort of August. So I think by the end of the year, I think we'll be on an upturn.
Yeah.
And I think as a business, I think we'll see some growth in our business at the start of next calendar year. But so I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think
I'm kind of thinking January 2021, January Feb time. We'll start to see it gradually towards the end of the year. But
I think we'll see some things before then. But I think you're right. I think it'll be next year before we probably see an uplift in the economy. I think, but we'll start to see things being switched on the tail end of the year, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm very optimistic. I think it's a phenomenal time to be in technology. There's some great things we can do, and I think it's forced the wider kind of business economy to kind of look at tech more, because I think it's the only way they can get to the markets, and a lot of them.
It's a great opportunity for startups, and there's I think you and Paul were talking about it last night on the webinar about opportunity for people to sort of practice their own projects, personal projects, and things like that might come out of this. It could be really exciting. So, like we said a couple of times, it's a good time to give people the space and the time to be a bit more creative in their approach. Yeah. So there's definitely some really exciting stuff coming up the back of it in technology, which is super exciting.
Yeah, really.
Personally then, obviously we know you've been heavily involved within Leeds Digital Festival, which was successful over webinar and over the web rather than being its usual live south. What sort of things are you passionate about getting involved in this year?
Personally getting involved in this year, oh wow, good question. I think there's a number of fronts there. I think that there's a personal front with my family as well, just kids and school and that type of thing, and making sure that they grow nice and safely. And there's the sort of internal kind of work thing for me. So I always look at BJSS as an agile construct in itself. So we don't think about it as a big hierarchy and sort of jobs for the senior people type things. We organise the business as we see fit at the time, and we evolve it kind of every year, and it changes. And I think we've kind of got used to that. So I think seeing how that can evolve as we evolve as we have grown. I changed the organisation a bit coming into this year. And I think now with the market conditions as it is, I think things will evolve, leaders will come through. So actually watching and helping BJSS evolve internally and becoming stronger and more resilient as an organisation, I find that fascinating. I love human nature and human behaviour, watching how people behave and just seeing what they can step up to do. That secondly is that I'm excited about. And then thirdly, just seeing our company's products and services evolve. I think and strengthen, because what we do have is a tremendous breadth of service offering. And the difficulty sometimes is gluing that together as a seamless end-to-end kind of offering thing. So that the creative design folk are phenomenal, and they lead into kind of some analyst and development kind of folk too. But actually, so getting that story stronger and just more seamless with our clients. And then the whole consulting offering around that. So we launched a business consulting part of the business just over a year ago. And those guys will help our clients with their businesses and drive value and services and things that they take to the market, which is not technology at all. But so gluing those services together better, I think, having more relevant and more joined up services of the clients too, so our clients deliver more value. So all of those things, I think I'm excited about facets and all of those perspectives. I think there's a lot going on.
Exciting stuff there.
Yeah, loads of exciting stuff. You clearly a busy guy. Well,
Everybody's busy.
Yeah, want to say huge thanks, Stuart. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. Are you happy for listeners to get in touch with you on LinkedIn, Twitter?
Of course.
Or your Twitter handle?
Tweet away on Bullock Stuart. So it's at Bullock Stuart is my Twitter handle, or yes, as you say, I'm easy to find on LinkedIn, and obviously you can find me at my BJSS.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for taking time to speak with us today, and thank you very much for tuning in and listening, everyone. We'll look forward to catching up with you next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.